Okay, everyone, I thought I'd give you an update on the 94 Mustang GT Convertible. I've been, kind of sort of driving this thing around for a while, sort of as a weekend convertible type car, but hadn't really driven it a whole lot. I haven't been real happy with the powertrain. The powertrain needs some work. I'll come back to that. But just the other day, I took it into an upholstery shop because if you look back at the videos, the other videos, you'll see that this had some issues with the door, the skins on the door, and I had that completely redone, and they went ahead and fixed, glued everything back so that it wasn't loose here like what happens to these cars a lot. So that looks awesome. I love it. I'm not trying to make this a show car or anything like that, so there was no need for me to try to replace everything. And of course, this car has these really nice racing seats. These are like $800 seats. I didn't pay for them, but somebody else did. And they have this really nice kind of red stitching. The back seat was all torn up. The back seat was tan. It had a piece of duct tape on the top, and as you can see, I had this guy do the back seat in the same style as the front seat, so it kind of looks like it came like this. It's really cool. So I had those two things done. I didn't have him do the carpet. The carpet would have been the most expensive thing, and it's faded, but it's not. There's nothing really terrible about it. So I went ahead and just had him not do that. I just said, don't bother with that. One other thing that I did to this car a while back that I may or may not have put on video, this car had an issue with the odometer, which is a very common issue where the odometer, speedometer stops working. The little gear becomes stripped back behind the speedometer. And I went ahead and ordered a new Cobra, not a new, but a used Cobra faceplate and the whole unit. So I got it. I managed to swap out the little odometer thing so that it kept the mileage correct. And there it is right there, and it works perfectly. Every turn signal, light, everything works great. And it looks super cool being that with that white background. Okay, so that's it as far as the updates that I made to it. But like I mentioned, I'm not happy with the heart of this car. The engine and the transmission suck. There's no other way to put it. The engine is slow as a dog. It misses. I haven't been able to figure out what was wrong with it. I did a smoke test on it, and there was nothing obvious, vacuum lines, anything else. I've changed spark plugs, changed the coil, the ignition coil, and I've pretty much decided that I want to pull the engine and see if I can get a little more out of it. The transmission, I did a video, one of the previous videos where I changed the fluid. It helped, and then the problem came back where it was shuddering. So I look at this car and I think it's a gorgeous car. Everything else works about it. The paint's in pretty good shape. The top is in really nice shape. The inside now is really nice. It's got new wheels, new tires, new brakes. Everything is great except for the powertrain. So I went ahead and started pulling off pieces of the engine. I put it up on a ramp and pulled the radiator out. The radiator is actually over here. All the other engine parts that I pulled out are over here for the most part. So I pulled the radiator, all the alternator, all the hoses, some of the hoses, most of the throttle stuff, the air intake, the spark plugs, wires, the belt, the serpentine belt. So I'm making progress on this. We're going to pull the engine and the transmission. We're going to take the transmission to the transmission shop and just have them go through it. I'm not really interested in making a lot of power for this car. It's really just a cruiser, so they're just going to go through it. I don't think I'm going to have them do anything to it other than just fix it so that it doesn't shudder anymore, rebuild it, whatever needs to be done. As far as the engine goes, my son and I are going to pull the engine, and we are gonna go through the whole thing. It does not burn oil, so I imagine the short block is fine. At most, we might hone it and re-ring it. Not 100% sure about that yet. There are a couple of things that I want to do, and I've emailed Summit Racing on it because I don't want the cascading effect of replace one part means that then you need to replace another part, which means you need to replace another part, which needs to replace the heads and all these things. So I'm kind of inquiring with them to say, hey, can I just have the heads rebuilt, but leave them the same, and maybe get just a real mild cam and maybe a slight upgrade of a throttle body, give me somewhere in the range of 30, 40, 50 more horsepower without really doing anything else. Because this thing sucks. It's only about 210 horsepower. So in any case, that's the latest update. I'll update you once we pull the engine and figure out what we're going to do with it.